Hey, what's up guys, the Game Dragon here, and I welcome you all to my next episode on my Payday 2 Armory. As for the weapon I'm covering up, it will be the American Kel-Tec KSG shotgun, or in-game name they would call it the Raven. Now the KSG is a bullpup pump action shotgun, which had actually a 2-tube magazine, where normally most shotguns would have like one tube. Well, there's a possibility to have double tubes. And of course, and the weapon design is by George Kilgren. It's a man from Sweden, but even though he probably moved over to America to make his own industries called the Kel-Tec CNC Industries, or mostly Kel-Tec Industry. Probably a more common word would be Kel-Tec, is of course founded by is American developer and manufacturer of firearms, and of course the designer of those weapons is, of course, like I said, George Kilgreen, which is also responsible for many of his firearms, such as the Tech 9 and the Sub 2000. Which, I'll show you the two weapons right now. Here's his design. One of the other weapons that he made is of course the Kel-Tec Sub 2000. And the other one is of course the Tech 9 SMG, which is this baby right here. And of course, I'll get to these weapons later on their own videos. So the KSG to me is like one of the first of its kind to be able to have two double tube magazines, which you can see right here, just below the barrel are actually the two magazines that you feed off. Now, thanks to it, it allows you to switch to different types of ammunition you want. You can load up the 1-2, which of course only holds 7 rounds each. So that's how you can get the 14 rounds on a shotgun like this. You can load up the left side with 12 gauge rounds, and you can load up the right side with either beanbag rounds, HE rounds, Dragon's Breath rounds. It's just so much customization you can have, and you can able to switch it on the fly without relying just an AR shotgun you have to pull out, which could be very time consuming. And as of course the weapon was designed, of course was in actually or more like produced in 2011 and still been produced today. And not really much history with the gun, like didn't use much by wars. Mostly the user though, even though this is an American shotgun, it's only been used by 3 countries: South Korea, France, and United Kingdom. And it seems that the KSG was mostly used for used by other like CTUs, like the South Korean 707 Special Mission Battalion, also the French Requis Assistance or RAID, a French police unit that's different compared to the GIGN, And of course, it's also a limited use by the British SAS and some private military companies, either due to its cost or something, or just the design of it. Maybe that's why we don't see probably much talk about it, but I do say it's one of my favorite shotguns and one of my favorite models ever. Alright, now in game, the KSG is a primary shotgun. It's a pump action shotgun, and of course has a magazine of 14, total ammo of 42, rate of fire of 104, damage of 90, accuracy of 44, stability of 44, concealment of 22, threat of 28, and a reload time of 9.6 seconds, assuming that you load all 14 shells. So the KSG is basically just like the other shotgun, very similar role to the another shotgun I did cover up, the Remington 870, and you can see right here the KSG is just a superior gun, and don't be blinded by the reload time. Like I said, this is all reload by shell by shell. This has only 6 rounds. The KSG is basically doubled of that capacity, so the KSG is just superior than the 870, which I honestly think this shotgun definitely deserves a buff by just a comparison. It's just no joke. And of course I'll get more into the playstyle and basically how effective this weapon is. But first let's actually look at the actual gun model. Okay, at the first right off the bat, I'll just get to the of course the front in the way of the barrel, as well as the tube, and also the little two little piece here that you can actually mount your slings, and you can put your clip on, and you can bring it all the way back up to the stock, where you can see the little holes that you can put your sling to it, so you can be able to carry your shotgun without actually holding it in your hands. And of course we have the iron sights, which, believe it or not, but you can also change the iron sights to a much better one. Now you'll probably recognize these iron sights, especially on the Vector. Well, of course these look like a backup iron sight, so they're not really, it doesn't look like it's actually built in with them. Of course it does have a pigtail rail to mount your optic of your choice, and it does have a pigtail rail for down here for your foregrips. And also the KSG does not have a built-in foregrip. Sometimes you can actually use with or without the grip itself, but I think having the foregrip just helps you for better pump action with it. Now, even though there's no pigtail rails on the sides, of course when you put a gadget it will spawn one. Of course we have our pistol grip, our trigger, the trigger guard. Now what is the most interesting part about it is this back here, basically the feeding system. Right up there you can see where you reload the shotgun. There's actually a little bit of a lever switch. That way when you that's how you reload the 2 tube 7 rounds. You basically open one latch to load your 7 rounds, and then you flip the switch to the left side to load your 7 rounds, and if you just put it in the middle, it's basically like your safety. So, or that way you don't have any shotgun to feed. So in order to able to fire the left side of the tube, you're going to need to put that switch on the right side so you can actually fire the shells from the left. And in order for you to fire the shells on the right, of course you had to flip that switch to the left side to fire the shells on the right side. And of course you don't do this in game because, you know, game balances, and plus it will be quite of a struggle to switch between the two, because just imagine you fire 7 rounds and then for some reason you say you can't fire your other 7 shots. Well, you're going to flip the switch and then you can able to fire your other 7 rounds before you have to reload. Of course, there's no actual proper the logic of that has been thrown out the window, but who cares? It's a video game. We play the game for fun, not for realistic stuff. But anyways, as we move on to the right side, there's some only readings here is patents pending, and of course the 12 gauge. I have no idea what the 2, 3, and 4 meant. It's just kind of weird. And of course you can see there's no ejector port on the gun on the right side, normally like many firearms, because you reloaded and ejected using the same hole where you feed your shells and when you inject the shells. So it's a very compact shotgun. It's very good and very ergonomic. So if you need to switch soldiers with it, you can do it without having some hot lead or hot shells in your face. Well, that's pretty much the big talk about it. Now let's see what you can throw onto this thing. Of course, we can have our different types of ammunition you want. We have actually 2 barrels. We have the short barrel, which of course just shortens up the barrel, and you could probably tell it's a little bit small. Though personally I like the normal barrel, just the normal one for the gun model itself. And when you equip the long barrel, yep, it goes even longer, and even the tube magazines and the barrel even extend further out from the gun. So that's how you get able to have more shells. And of course, a short barrel here just have a much smaller, more compact, but also reducing number of rounds. So the short barrel is good for if you want to have that extra damage, but also mainly for crits and stealth. And you can use the long barrel just for if you want to have it for more armor build and you want to make sure you want to have more rounds before you have to reload. There you go. Barrel extension, you can pick any barrel extension you want, including suppressors, which fits nicely on it. You can pick any type of boost you want. Now, as for the gadgets, of course, you can actually there's actually a little cool detail with this one with the gadgets is if you put like a compact laser module, I think even the assault light and the LD combo, they will be hanging from the left side here, and you can see there's the Payday rail. It just magically appeared. I don't know how, but it's just willed weight into the gun. Now let's say I put on the military laser module. Oh, never mind. It's here, but they're all here, but they of course all on the left side. But when you go over the sights, of course you can pick any optic you want, but there's also unique flip-up sights. And when you put it on, including with a oh wait, I'm a little confused here, I'm sorry. Oh, I think it's happening when you put on a red dot sight. Ah, there you go. Okay, so yeah, if you put like basically any optic, let's see. Yeah, okay, so if you pick any optic that is not an iron sight, and if you have like a military laser module or even a tactical laser module, you'll have the gadget on top of the Payday rail. So Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, it kind of makes sense since you don't have a pigtail rails on the left side, so you use the top instead. And yes, that is actually a natural thing. There's actually a lot of weapons that has large pigtail rails, and they do have a, well, like a military laser module on top of the rail. Of course, it just sits a bit forward ahead of the optic, so that way you still get that flashlight. And I think, and the purpose for the gadget on top, I say probably just one theory, is to help you to maintain your recoil control. Because if you have a gadget like on the right side or left side, like this for example, the weight may be the weight gets countered by it of the weight of the gadget, and so it's probably going to be a little heavier to deal with and trying to hold it off. So having a, after all, um, having a gadget on top on the gun um, basically balance out the weapon and probably sits nicely on top as well. So that's a little bit cool. I find it to be unique to it. I don't think any other weapon does this in game, so it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So yeah. But enough talk about that. Let's actually let's get to this, which of course is the flip up side. Now, with the flip up side, now funny enough, the front post of the flip up side actually moves a bit backwards, and you basically get a much clearer picture. And of course, you get basically +2 concealment, so it's good for, like I mentioned, for both crit and stealth. And of course, these are the Magpul flip up sights, so you're definitely going to see these quite a lot. And another weapon that do have the flip up sight, but they're built into it, is the Grim 12. So that's basically covered about it. The only uniqueness to the weapon is the barrels, the flip up sight, and basically the optic slash laser module combo. And that's pretty much about it. Alright. Now let's test this bad boy out in the field. I'll see you in a second. Alright, here we are at the firing range with the KSG shotgun. It's a pretty big gun, considering this is a bullpup, and by looking at the default iron sights, I'm not really too keen on using this. So I'll just pretend I load 7 rounds, and let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I did 8. Damn, I'm more used to the COD where when you just reload a shell, you can able to basically cancel it out so you can have that exact rounds, but here I kind of must have did it a little bit second too late. Oh well, that's fine. You know what, let's just load the other tube. Okay. Well, here it goes. I mean, nothing really much to say. It's just a pump action shotgun, except It's just doubled the capacity of the 870 by a margin, and of course at low recoil, and the rate of fire is so slow, I can still pick up shots good. Like I can able to maneuver and fire it as I go. Like just, you know, still keep up with my pacing, so I don't have to worry as much. I mean, I don't need to do any other tests with this because, I mean, it's not like the other weapons where it's fully auto and I can, you know, try to do the second test where I just let the recoil do its thing, and then the third test I would just try to, you know, control it as I fire it. You can't really do with a pump action just because every time you fire the weapon, it just get recentered back where you are. So let me just do a couple shots. Like you see, it's not really going anywhere, and now I think there is a difference when you actually spread with a shotgun, where when you aim, you probably narrow the spread than compared to when you just fire from the hip. The shots will just basically spread everywhere, or close to, or more spread out. So let me just do this, and also bear in mind that the shots will just go randomly where they go, so it's not always gonna be the same thing. So I got like a little J when I ADS, and a goofy smiley face when I just fired from the hip. And it's a really damn shame that I can't have the nice feature of able to have two different types of ammunition, and I can switch it on the fly. You know, this would have been pretty nice to do. After all, I do want to see more weapons having a little bit more personality to it in Payday 3 in the sequel. And hopefully this would actually, you know, innovate the weapon system a lot more, because I do love to see it happening. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to have so many ways to dig out with customization of weapons. For sure when Payday 3 arrives. Well, I showed you the base version. Let me whip out my my first one is the loud, my build for loud. I'll see you in a second. Well, here it is, my fully decked out KSG for armored builds. Of course, I have my speculator sight, and of course I have the LD combo, so it's actually hanging on the left side. I have the long barrel. I have I think I have like the -4 accuracy boost. I think I have the shark teeth nozzle or King's Crown, I'm not so sure. And of course I have the tripled buck. Alright, anyways, let's see if that makes any much of a difference. Alright. Time to pump it out. Yeah, like barely anything actually changes it, so after all, it barely changes anything. The only thing it probably does affect is the accuracy, pretty much. After all, having a spreader accuracy is better. I don't know, they probably changed it during a weapon balance on PC, but it doesn't affect it for consoles. And they also did change with the number of pellets for many of the shotguns. I don't know where the KSG sits at, But yeah, I'm not sure how many shots. Let's just, I don't know, I have the triple buck, so it may be different. So let's just see. Alright, let's see. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Normally with a shotgun, you'll have like 8 pellets. This one I can only spot 7, unless one's basically grouped in together with some stuff somewhere else, but I don't see it. Well, now it's time for my stealth variation, or even used for crits. And I'll whip it out in a second. Alright, here is my silenced KSG. Of course I have the short barrel, the suppressor, the compact laser module, and of course the flip up sight. And I had to say, these are marginally improvement over the default iron sights. Especially I like the front post, very clear. The rear sight is not really blocky as much. And I can actually use the front post to aim for either headshots or anything if I need to go for crits. But of course I have my laser to help me with hip firing to ragdoll any type of guards. Well, let's see how this sounds like. I also love that you can actually hear the ejection shells hitting the surface. Of course, with a short barrel means I have less smaller mag, which I don't able to fire as much as compared to 14 or the 18 rounds. But that's pretty much the quietness. Nothing really changed much. Let's see if the whole recentered when rechambering the next round is the same. No, it just appears roughly the same. Not really much big changes with the shotgun. Other than, of course, when you fire it, it sounds more quieter, but the cycling of the pump still has the same sound. I mean, it's natural, that's how it is. But yeah, that's pretty much about it about this KSG. And, well, I'll see you back in the lobby to give you guys my final conclusion on this weapon. I'll see you back. Overall, the KSG shotgun is a fantastic weapon on its own. It can use for multiple builds, whether to be used for stealth or loud, armored or dodge. It has it all. And it makes it even better that it's a superior version of the Remington 870, which that shotgun definitely needs a buff, especially that the KSG has really good concealment. Of course, you can improve it with the short barrel, the flip up sight, and of course having a concealment boost. This is probably the best primary shotgun for stealth, and no other shotgun come close to it. There may be a handful, but when it comes to suppressed shotguns, it does have some big rivals, such as mainly the Sega 12, which of course I'll get to that weapon in another video. It's still one of my personal favorites. I love running it in loud, I love running it with crits as an armor build, and I also use it for stealth sometimes if I want to take a break with the judge, or I need like a rapid fire SMG, or I need the wall banging capabilities of the 5.7 pistol. The KSG will do me just fine. As for the cons, there's not really as much other than it's a pump action shotgun. You're not gonna shoot faster than the semi-autos or the full autos. And yeah, if you're trying to reload all shells, yes, it may take a long time to reload, but hey, you got shotgun skills for that. So it's definitely one of the more welcome additions for the Payday 2 arsenal, especially when you load up with different types of ammunition. And definitely one of my personal favorite shotguns. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.